Hi, Caroline Kearney here at Powell Arts, and I'm with the lovely Nina Yocom. Nina's pieces, she has two pieces that will be in our Marvelous and Unusual show from now through July 16th. Nina, can you introduce us to this tiny jewel of a piece?
Thank you very much. I would be happy to. So this piece is called Swarm, and it very much is a very swarming kind of piece. The colors that I use, this is done with alcohol inks on Yocom paper, which is synthetic paper. A lot of people, when they first look at a piece that I've done like this, working with alcohol ink on Yocom paper, very often I like to adhere it to a panel once I've done painting. And then I will resin the panel, and then I'll take that panel and I will have it put into in this case, a 6x6 by 1.5 inch black floating frame. Mm-hmm. And many people look at it and go, is that tile?
Yeah, it does look like a tile, which is so, that's what I was going to say is the resin that you're using is so glossy and like luscious looking that it like smooths and rounds the end so it looks like everything is bonded like right onto it. What kind of resin are you using? Because it looks pretty thick.
Yeah, it's just a typical art resin, which is a good product to use. Mm-hmm. Resin has a life of its own, like alcohol inks. You have to have a very patient hand, watch a lot of YouTube videos, and it really becomes a bit of an art form in and of itself. Yeah. Just making sure that it is a pure process.
Yeah.
If you do have this beautiful painting and you resin and then you resin wrong, you'll get bubbles or imperfections.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of a science along with this. My father is a scientist. I have inherited the scientist mind and analytical mind. So a lot of science is involved and chemistry is involved in alcohol inks, the resining process.
I really love how like you are so detailed and meticulous and you really take note of how things are reacting. One of the things I want to talk about in this piece is it looks like you layered almost in strata the different colors, and then this is very dense. You usually have dense pieces that then have space with them, but this is all over dense, like a swarm. Mm-hmm. How did you think about this piece?
This was far different. Like you had said, a lot of my pieces will be open a little bit more, have a little bit more white space around. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of some small white
nice to give it space.
But I really wanted the denseness in the strata. I really wanted to achieve a layer upon layer upon layer of color. Mm-hmm. But one of the wonderful things with alcohol inks is that you can use a paintbrush along with many other methods of movement, including air and other methods. But in this case, I can take a paintbrush and I layered out the inks and use isopropyl alcohol to enable the inks to flow.
It also probably smells great.
Oh, yeah, it smells great. Yeah.
If you like the smell of alcohol, which I do.
Respirators if you're in a confined area. But so you can actually take a paintbrush once you've laid out the inks, and then you can actually make these formations.
So that's how you guys, so if you're looking at this up close, what you'll see is there's these little circular, you can see the circular movements in like macro, like the bigger ones. But then as you look in, there's almost a circling into like when you drop a pebble into the water. Is that the part that you did? Like, is that from the paintbrush?
It's from the paintbrush. You can actually achieve that with the paintbrush. And you just kind of glide the paintbrush along. And the inks, they do have a life of their own. They do move somewhat independently. But you can use tools like a paintbrush to control where they're going to go.
Do you use the heat gun in, do you do that? So if you don't know about alcohol ink, a lot of the process has to do with the heat gun. Mm-hmm. Do you use it in combination?
In combination.
Okay.
Right. So there's a process of drying, and then also you can, one of the cool things about working with inks is that once you have laid out your inks and you have moved them, you can go back in with just straight isopropyl alcohol on a paintbrush.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then you can layer out and make things a little bit lighter
to give
dilute
it. That's
a little bit more.
That's beautiful.
So you can really do some pretty cool combinations.
Well, and I know that even on your other piece, which is called Longing for Home, and we'll try to put a little pop up here of that. You're great with you have this way of using pattern and dotting techniques that really bring out the shapes that you're making. And what's interesting about this one is you've done that within the lines by using the paintbrush to kind of draw our eyes to those things. It's been really interesting to see you move through this process. And on the one hand, this is still a very small piece, and yet I think it's one of the larger pieces you've ever shown with us. So It's been beautiful to see you kind of grow, and I've learned a lot about alcoholing. So you're welcome from Nina that she's taught us all a lot about alcoholing. How did you decide the colors on this?
So these colors, I really loved this color packet. Alcohol inks come in, sometimes they come in a pack of 3.
Okay.
So you literally, this is called farmer's market.
Oh, that's funny.
It's called cranberry, lettuce, and eggplant.
Oh my gosh, I was going to guess, tomato, lettuce, and eggplant. When you said farmer market, I was like, that has to be eggplant.
So you're getting like this kind of farmer's market of those colors.
Mhm.
And one of the really cool things about the alcohol inks is they play well together.
Well, and what's nice about this is it can either look like a swarm that's coming right at you, and this is the swarm, but I also like the delineation here, where it's almost like you have ground and sky, and you're watching the swarm come towards you through the space, which is really cool. So I love this piece. We love having you in the Marvelous and Unusual. We hope that you will all come out to see the show from now through July 16th at Powell Arts. Thanks so much, Nina.
Thank you for having me.